Here's a better picture of the attic that I worked in Molasses Moon. And this is being seen on my Kindle Fire in the photo series of that book. The clock is still ticking. Even though I've read to the end of the book, and I don't want to show all of the photos in the series, holding a little bit back, I might like to show a few of the photos from that one, pretend time after getting the Villard rejection. And we were doing the photo labor of love thing. Here's one of those. And I'll show another one of those. They were kind of fun. And this is a junkyard, realize, and then you're still able to make very creative pictures. Here's one of the ones that I think Tom would have enjoyed. Taking home, setting up in a room in our house, a hobby room, and making little model railroad tracks and trains inside. And here's one of Tom sitting inside of another one of the cars. Another photo taken through a window of one of the discarded, abandoned railroad cars. And here you're seeing also the parchment black background with the white ink. Actually brown ink. And now I'm going to try to go to the beginning and see if I can get to the... Yeah, here we are. I wanted to go to the table of contents links. I'm going to try not to show up here. I'm trying to get to the dedication. I think it must be on the next page, the link to that. Yeah, there we go. Oh no, that's visceral history definition. Well, I'll just find it another way, hoping that this isn't going to get too boring while you're waiting. Here's the dedication. Starts here. And it continues on the next page. There are a lot of people really that I'd like to thank that contributed to keeping me going, which is what this book was all about, during the long road to fruition, if you want to call it that. This book is dedicated to the readers of the manuscript of this book named within the plot and/or in the epilogue, with snippets of their feedback included. The names of the psychiatrist and police official were changed and their locations and titles skewed, due to their professional positions understandably requiring a more respectful, saner degree of political protocol and philosophical normalcy than that which is contained herein. Especially also dedicated to my nephew Lonnie Joe Hudnall, whose in-depth comments on Molasses Moon were detailed with a huge yum factor for a writer's soul cravings, and always arrived at just the time when I needed them most. And I also want to make a note here in case Lonnie watches these videos, that if you see one of them in which you're mentioned, just realize that you are mentioned in several places in the book. More toward the middle and end, I think, as literally when you came in to my life as I was writing the story. And I think you did read the original manuscript, so you're aware of the places you're mentioned in the book. But I also made asides, like I am now, in the here and now. I just wrote something also on the forum that I've been continuing for a few years on Amazon for mature seasoned writers that each have several books published, mostly through Amazon or on Amazon, which is where most people sell their books if they're not a large New York publisher or aren't backed by that. Actually, now all the people in the big publishers sell on Amazon too. So, lost my train of thought here, but I'm sure it'll come back, hopefully before I need to stop this video and start it over again. But I'll just continue here because I did want to read the dedication here with this series of videos reading this book. To my ever-present and always accounted for husband, Tom M. Shelnutt, with his love, when his love for me shines in his face, my spirit soars and renews to life. I was thinking it'd be shining in my face, which is it does too, but this is what I meant. When his love for me shines in his face, my spirit soars and renews to life. My admiration is constant for his dedication to diligence in his chosen profession, a dedication surged to a berserker path when he's blocked from his tasks, which is when he comes home with steam in his ears. Tom kindly and generously gives a large amount of personal and professional space to support my writing habit. He's also the one who continues supporting us with an honorable, hard-earned, real paycheck. His unwavering belief in the value of my writing, even when it's not to his taste, has sustained my soul to remain on earth. When he can praise what I write and share what I read, I know I'm home and could fly to the sun. The biographical parts of Molasses Moon tell some of the story of Tom and me. The joy is evident and true. Some of the difficulty we shared later in marriage, though awkward, through awkward communication, immaturity, and the healing of scars from our lives before we met, will be left in the sacred trust of unwritten history. It is enough that we lived it, enduring through pain founded in love, a force of constant resurrection. We're of the German Shepherd family. All people that develop the type of deep closeness on a spiritual level that Tom and I have gone through a lot to get there. And they just keep coming back and they keep going and they keep making things better and working from what they have to work from. That was from the present, that little insert there. Another special dedication goes to our feline family, Greasy, Arzel, and Ariel, who are always close by at home and who travel with us in spirit whenever we're gone. As always, I dedicate my writing to my family, pets, and friends, all of them, including those on this side as well as the other side of life, as we know and don't know it. So I guess all the other people too that I wanted to mention, as I said, were mentioned within the story as they contributed. And there's a lot more I want to say in relationship to this book. It's almost like this series of videos, in a sense, is providing the ending to this series. Sliding Down Moonbeams hopefully will be one of the next projects I'll be working on to make ready and publish on Kindle. That's the sequel to Molasses Moon. And then Magic Moonbeam is just half written. And I think in a sense the second half of that book would be the reading here, because this is not only a reread of Molasses Moon, the first book in the series of the books of life that I've written, but the comments that come in from the present, and the fact of me reading this book from the present, of having my books available in probably the most feasible way they could have been made available, for them to succeed in their best light, in their most spiritual sense. That's what's happening now. And it actually didn't come to a point that I felt solidly that the potential for them to actually be launched and be read, and me to make an income from them that would be stable and dependable to use for a retirement for Tom, to quit working and for us to live together in a retired state for the rest of our days. It's possible now. And that's thanks to the genius, the literal genius, marketing genius, and other types of genius, creative genius, of Jeff Bezos, and the people that he has been able to draw to him. Because one person alone can do this and has done this, but it's his ability to bring other people of close to equal caliber to what he is, to work with him and give all that they have to give and get an adequate amount in return. And the return is not just the paycheck, whatever that may be. The return is also the way they're treated, and that they're allowed to use their creativity to a degree that will work to contribute to the whole, and that will work to keep their spark so they can contribute. Now I've really lost my train of thought. But mostly it's just I'm satisfied if I even stop here and don't sell any more books. The fact that they're on Amazon, they're there the way I want them to be, that I still have access through Amazon's KDP, Kindle digital publishing. Anytime I want, I can go there the way it's set up now and add or delete or fix errors, whatever I want to do to improve them. That's available to me continually. It's also available, which I think is important, for me to delete or unpublish any of my books if I come to the point that I feel it's just not a worthy thing to me to have them available. I don't think I'd come to that point, but if I did, it's important to have the option to remove the gifts if they come to a point, like Ayn Rand's husband said, Frank O'Connor, that she was casting pearls before swine. In her case, in her day, in a larger sense, that was true. But the success of her books, the fact that they remained in print from their original publication to date and that they sell so well, says that not all of humanity is rolling in a trough. And in fact, pigs are honorable creatures too. Anyway, there are a lot of good people in the world. And I mean really good. A lot of spirited people, creative. Look at our productivity, look at the music. And I think even the Hollywood, look at what we've produced in the way of movies and films, in all types of art. I'm not ashamed of that. Yes, there are a lot of things that the media puts out and that have gotten out in lieu of other works of art that might have been better. And that's changing now, thanks, I think, to the types of genius that Bezos has expressed and worked very hard to produce from. We just might get there, get to the point that we shine in our best light as a human race, as a species. There's a lot to be proud of already. I'm not in any way ashamed to be a human being. I'm proud of it. And I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to live in the USA. I am proud to be a part of this whole world and all of the cultures on it. I think every culture and every spot on this globe has beauty in it, has something in the way of gifts for all of humanity, and to hand up to God, whatever, whoever that may be. I believe it exists. And I think that that being, consciousness, or whatever would be pleased overall with what we've done, with what we've been given. So I'm content. I would like to go further with my books in a successful way. But if not, this is good. And for anybody who's contributed in any way to my path, know that I will be eternally grateful.